please. Here in the council chambers with me, we have Councilor Jackson, we have Councilor Cornelius, Councilor Mayor Pro Tem Salas.
Yes.
We have Joe Eby, Councilor Eby here. We have Susan Lutterman via Zoom because she went out of the state and she's following directions. We have our deputy manager, Ron Santa, our manager, Tim Dodge, Irma Devine is here, and village attorney Zach Cook, and our IT specialist Jeffrey Farguson is in the room somewhere. All right, so we'll move forward. We'll go ahead and observe a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'll have a roll call. Thank you. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. All righty. We'll go ahead and have the official roll call, please, ma'am.
Mayor Crawford.
Here.
Councilor Jackson.
Here.
Councilor Eby.
Here.
Councilor Salas.
Here.
Councilor Cornelius.
Here.
Councilor Lutterman.
Here.
All right, and anybody notice that the smart aleck didn't make it this morning? Tim Coughlin? He's on vacation.
We'll get out of here early.
Yeah, so we'll carry on with that. I don't have anybody to pick on, so. First agenda item, does everybody have a couple of handouts too?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I know you guys got busy.
Hold on, Mayor, yes. I'm calling Jeff. I
Okay.
can't log in.
I'll be right there.
Okay, thank you. So go ahead.
Everybody else good? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for coming in again. Your dedication is always amazing and very much appreciative for the things that you do. So I know you guys got other jobs, so we'll get to things quickly as possible. First item is discussion on adoption of Resolution 2020-38, consent of assignment and execution of closing documents related to transfer of KRUI broadcast station license and assets from MDT Inc. to the Village of Ruidoso. And I think this one's pretty self-explanatory. Do you have anything to say, Zach, or? Nope. Okay. So we're all good. So I think that this one probably could be on consent. Is there any
I
consent?
agree with that, consent.
Okay. Okay, moving on. Item number 2. Discussion on grant agreement with the New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration, LGD, for legislative capital appropriation 20-E2609 to plan, design, purchase, and equip information technology and infrastructure improvements for the Ruidoso Public Library in the amount of $10,000. And this one is a grant. Ron, do you have anything to add to it?
No, Mayor, I don't. This one, well, I'll skip a little bit of, this is just an appropriations we received during the 2020 legislative session. And it can be used for, again, for technology or any type of improvements to the infrastructure itself at the library, so.
Okay, is it noted enough that we need to talk about it at all, just to exercise the point that we have received another grant, or do you just want it on consent?
Mayor, I believe, was it this one given to us by one of our legislators?
Yes, this one here was from Senator Stefanix is the one that from her district allocated or.
Wow.
$10,000 for the library.
Mayor, I can't hear anything. I
Okay,
can't hear Ron or it.
okay, we'll get him up to a microphone.
Mayor, I'll just give another brief on this. This is
Okay.
what we received, this $10,000 we received from the legislative session for the 2020. It was one of our senators, Senator Stefanik, she, within her district, she requested and $10,000 to libraries for IT or infrastructure improvements to library, for the library. So
Is that better, Susan?
is that a little better?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Where do you guys want this one?
Probably, but I got a question. I mean, I know it's for technology and improvements. Has it been earmarked for anything? I mean, we got 3 years,
No,
so it's not really earmarked for a specific computers or towards the,
Mayor Crawford, Mayor Pro Tem Salas, no, it hasn't been earmarked for anything. That's something that we'll look into with the library staff and see where they're, what they need or how they want to move forward with expending the funds.
okay.
So
And so you said this for all libraries in this district?
she, Mayor Crawford, she, for different libraries within her district, you know, that she, like us and some of the others, received $10,000. So.
Mayor, but this 10,000 specifically for our library.
For our library.
For
Yes.
our, yeah, I understand that, but because we don't really get anything out of her. I mean, much less a phone call. I was just wondering why she threw this to us.
Yeah, I think for the whole district, so she couldn't leave us out.
Hmm.
I think it's part of the compromise with
Yeah,
that.
it's a-
Yeah, is that where you had her down and this all we get out of her, Zach?
Let's go to the next item.
Okay.
So Mayor Crawford, members of the council, we did not submit a capital outlay request on this funding. We just received it.
Okay. So how about consent?
Yeah, I agree. Consent.
Okay, discussion, number 3, discussion on grant agreement with the New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration, LGD, for legislative capital appropriation 20-E2801 to acquire easements and right of way and to plan, design, and construct watershed improvements and removal of trees for fire mitigation in the village of Ruidoso in the amount of $110,000, no pennies. So, yes, sir.
Mayor Crawford, members of the council, the village has been fortunate for the last several years to receive this type of funding for forestry, for the watershed, and for thinning, and for fire mitigation. So this is just another appropriations that we received during the 2020 legislative session. And this funding will be through the forestry department, Dick Cook and his staff. Not sure if the gentleman in the back is responsible for this funding, but he always is very helpful to the village. Again, this is just going to be dedicated to projects for thinning, watershed improvements, and fire mitigation within the forest,
Okay.
within village-owned properties. So you have to make sure that's stated.
Okay, within the village, no matching, none of that.
Correct.
Okay, what do y'all want to do?
Consent.
Consent?
I agree.
Consent.
Did Zach have something to do with this?
Well, he's trying to take credit, but he won't raise his hand, so we're giving him credit, but
He's smiling.
The only thing,
broadly.
the only thing I was thinking is if Zach had something to do with it, maybe we need to just say something about that during our meeting.
okay,
I mean,
we can.
Maybe not put it in consent, but at least let people know that Zach participated in getting that fire mitigation for us.
Well, I mean, when I read off the consent, I can throw that in there before I move on to the next one.
Little footnote.
Okay? Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh, all right.
And we'll stand up and we'll
Thank you,
applaud.
Mayor.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll have an effective pause of the camera doing a pan.
Item number 4 is discussion on amendment number 1 to the grant agreement between the Village of Ruidoso and the State of New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration Local Government Division Enhanced 911 Act Grant Program for project number 21-E57 for the Public Safety Answering Points PSAP at the Village of Ruidoso and Mescalero Apache Reservation areas and E911 related reimbursements. And I believe, Chief, do you have anything to add to it?
Good morning, Mr. Mayor, councilors. No, sir, this is just an annual agreement that we do every year. The only thing that's changed is because we're upgrading, then they're upgrading, so the language changed just a little bit, but other than that, that's it.
Consent?
Consent.
Okay. Okie dokie. Okay, item number 5, discussion on memorandum of understanding between the Village of Ruidoso as the fiscal agent for the Lincoln County Ruidoso DWI program and the Village of Capitan as the administrative authority for the Capitan Police Department for DWI enforcement activities and reimbursement of costs. And I don't see, are you going to do that, Chief? I know it's an annual. But I don't see Bill or Mr. Hanson anywhere.
Mr. Mayor, no, sir, he wasn't going to be able to be on it today. Again, it's just the renewal of those agreements between him and the agencies that support it.
Okay, and I think that we have 6, 7, and 8 are identical.
Other than different entities.
Yep. So can we just lump all those together? I mean,
Yeah.
and put them on consent, and then I will
Consent.
read them all off during the meeting.
Consent.
Okay. Item number 9. Discussion on aviation maintenance grant agreement project number SRR-21-01 with airfield maintenance at the Sierra Blanca Airport. And this one is, anything to add to it, Chief Thetford?
No, sir. Good morning, Mr. Mayor, Council. The paperwork shows a 95% match by the village. That's actually incorrect. It's going to be 90-10, but the 20,000 and the 2,222 is correct. It's just a typo in the 95.5. It's going to be 90-10.
I know, I didn't want to turn it on.
Okay, we'll have that corrected. Okay. Consent?
Yes.
Okay, number 10, discussion on award of runway 524 remarking project to Highway Supply through the state of New Mexico, price agreement, bid number 90-00-18-00005 in the amount of $71,199.41, including gross receipts tax. And this item number 10, Chief Thetford?
Yes, sir. As you said, the runway marking project through the state pricing agreement for $71,199 is part of the grant that we received for the 170 that it shows there, and it's 100% state funded. We'll move forward to get the marking project done to stay in compliance with our FAA Part 139.
Okay.
And Chief, I would correct your memo that the markings numbers is 6 and 24. It's not 5 and 24.
That is correct. It is 6 and 24.
Okay, so we need to correct that one too.
Consent.
Okay. Item number 11 is discussion on first renewal agreement with Road Management Corp for land lease for hangar P6 at Sierra Blanca Regional Airport.
Yes, sir, Mayor, Council. This is a land lease agreement between the village and Road Management. Working with Robin and Judy, November 1st is when it will be available for us to have the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, and that's when we'll get our official numbers to fill that in and we can fulfill the contract.
Okay. Any comments, questions? Consent? Number 12 is a discussion on award of RFP number 2021-002P to 1215 Hotel Operating LCC DBA MCM Elegante Lodge and Resort as the most responsive and qualified firm for the convention center marketing.
And that amount,
Excuse me.
76,000 total, correct?
I
The financial impact is where I got that, and all of that money's going towards the,
thought they were dropping that.
Mayor, I do believe they dropped it. Karen, Judy, are you there?
She doesn't have any audio. Should I get her?
She can't hear us?
Karen?
Judy, you can't hear us? Karen?
You can't hear Tim.
Yes, sir.
Do you know about the discussion with, or the contract with the MCM Elegante? It says it's $76,000, but I was under the impression they were dropping it. Are you familiar with any of that?
76,000. I'm sorry. Good morning, Mayor.
Oh yeah, hi John.
76,000 is the amount that's budgeted, but the proposal from MCM was 59,935. And that their proposal is attached to the back evaluation summary.
Were you able to hear John, Mayor?
Yes, ma'am. Very good. Thank you, John. Okay, I found it.
Mayor, I'll just recommend that we update that financial impact since it's only the 50, whatever thousand.
well, I was thinking of leaving, probably 5,000 or asking that, so that kind of like what we do when we have a bad winter and lodger's tax, there's that contingency fund to do more advertising and stuff. I mean, everybody's, I don't know, not everybody. I've had quite a few calls. When can we open up the convention center? When can we have even just meetings in there and stuff? And then, I didn't have any answer for them. Sent them your way. And, but that's what I'm thinking, that if same situation like how we are with the low snow numbers or anything there, there's a little bit more as a cushion, or like I said, a contingency. I mean, that's what I was gonna discuss on. I mean, yeah, I didn't think it was that much. I thought it was a lot lower, so drop it, $10,000. Because that's the line item, correct?
Well, and this is a bid too,
Right.
so.
And he bid it 60,000, but as far as in the line item, still have that
76 to keep it in there.
I would just say, 60.
Yeah, I think that's a good recommendation.
So that way there's a contingency and we don't have to come back like the tax, or they have to come back and say, hey, and then we could decide if we award them any more money for advertising.
Okay. So we want this one on discussion.
That would be good for that purpose.
Okay.
Mayor?
Yes,
Mayor,
ma'am. Uh-huh.
How much did you want transferred to contingency?
The balance of the,
Okay.
Oh, you can hear us?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, just the balance from the difference between the 59.6 and 59,935 and 76. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Number 13, discussion on agreement with 1215 Hotel Operating LLC DBA MCM Elegante Lodge and Resort RFP 2020-002P for Convention Center Marketing. And there's,
Mayor, I believe the award of the RFP, of the RFP that we were discussing earlier, that's just the award. The discussion on the agreement is what we were discussing. I believe that's what you want to bring as a discussion item as the agreement. So we were discussing both the award of the RFP and then the agreement.
okay.
So the award of the RFP doesn't have a dollar value. We're just going to award the RFP.
Okay.
On, number 12. So I believe that's what you're wanting to do is discuss item 13.
Okay.
So put 12 on consent and 13 on discussion.
Okay.
That'll work.
Did you hear that, Irma?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for that, Karen.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Excuse me, I have a question, Mayor.
Sure.
On item 12 and 13, which RFP number is correct? Because they're both different.
It is 2021
Hold on.
-002P. That is typo on 13.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, item number 14, discussion on amendment number 1 to professional services agreement with Miller Engineers, Inc., DBA Sauer Miller and Associates for bidding and construction phase services on the water and sewer system improvements for the Town and Country Area CDBG project. Okay, and Samantha? I don't see Samantha up there.
Mayor, on this one, the current agreement that we have with Sauer Mill and Associates was for design services. Now that we've been awarded the CDBG grant, the next process is to move towards construction and bid the project and then go into construction. So these, this task order is for bidding and construction phase services.
Okay. Does anybody know what streets run through Town and Country?
I saw the map on here.
Mayor.
Yes.
Sorry, Tim.
Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, Council, the streets are going to be Mary, Valencia, and Chavez.
Mary, Valencia, and Chavez. So this is over up behind Pioneer?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And Adam, we're going all the way up Chavez?
Mayor, Councilor Salas, no, we're not. We're going up about 150 feet past Hidalgo on Chavez.
Okay. I was hoping we go all the way up Chavez.
That gives us.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and we'll go and tie in and loop on the top of Chavez, but the sewer line will only go, like I said, about 150 feet past Hidalgo on Chavez.
Okay.
Okay.
Regular item there, so we can boast about it.
Okay, absolutely. Item number 15 is discussion on recommendation by review panel on award of CARES Act small business continuity grant applications. Tim, you want to talk about that one?
Mayor, I've got, Irma's been involved with the process. So, Ron, did you get the numbers yet?
I have only, Mayor Crawford, members of the council, just waiting on the total of grant requests. Can we move this to further down until we get those, they're totaling out the.
Like in the next 30 minutes or so?
Yes.
No, yes, that'd be fine.
Yeah, I mean, just.
We've had the committee meeting. They've already completed their review.
Mm-hmm.
So all we're trying to do right now is get the total number of applications. I believe it was 77, if I'm not mistaken, Irma.
Yeah.
Irma received the grants. Okay, and then, so the total request is
1,199,000.
So,
So we're right there, huh?
that doesn't seem right,
Well, I'll have them recheck that and get.
because we need to go through that because there was, the committee found one application incomplete and one ineligible. So I don't know if they're including that number or not, but, the committee has completed the review of the application and the scoring. They're gonna be meeting again today to actually go over the request amount and the scoring and then make recommendations on who would be funded at what levels. But it appears that we're very close to the amount of money requested in comparison to the amount of money that we have available. So
It's good.
it's very, very close.
So we'll talk about this one in length.
Yeah, for some reason that number that didn't match what Irma had calculated. You had done one part of the calculation and then Irma, so yeah, that's why I'd asked for.
And what do we receive? 1.17 for that?
1.171 or something like that.
Yeah.
1,171,000.
1,171,000. So we had a $20,000 overage. I mean, people asking for 20,000 more.
From the numbers that Ron gave me, I had two different calculations, so I'm trying to get the total. We had, a group of applications come in that we processed, and then we had the review committee meet, and then we had the second, phase of the review.
Okay.
But that process went very smooth, Mayor, and our panelists are, did a great job at reviewing and calculating.
We're kind of keeping those guys secret. Just wanted, since it's the applications, page 1 has identifying information, and then that's kept separate. And then they're given the other 2 pages. And so they don't have any idea who it is. I mean, some of the stuff you can infer, I guess, but we just wanted their identities so they could be very objective about it. So
That's good.
Anyway, so I think they've done
Mayor.
an awesome job. Yes, ma'am.
Silly question. I was just wondering, once the committee figures out the payments, and let's just say that all of the businesses that applied needed those monies, would the village be able, with the money that we received, let's just say, to chip in the 20,000 so that all the businesses could have what they needed? Would that be a possibility?
Well, I mean, it's not what the money was designed to do. We were looking at other ways to, enhance or benefit the business community.
Right.
But I don't know how that would work because we put the maximum at 20,000 and that's what we advertised. And I don't know if changing the rules after we've played the game or, and what we said that we would do is that we would exhaust all the funding. So it sounds like that we are exhausting that funding. And
sounds like it.
Yeah, and the additional monies, are going to pay back what the village has expended. We'll pay back the general fund for the money that we've spent on the PPE and all those different things. And then any of the other monies that we that we think we can do, we would like to do something in Midtown area. And,
right.
And we don't have any particulars. That's something that we all need to discuss, and we'll work with administration. I think Tim's got something. Go ahead.
Mayor, Councilor, due to the CARES Act, this is a very unique situation, and it's not something that you see very often. But with the CARES Act, the money that was afforded to those grants is actually getting around the anti-donation clause because of the federal law and the state sub-grant that was put in place. So, we're not able to really take any other general funds and add to the pot or things of that nature. If so, we get into a anti-donation situation.
Okay.
But we still want to do something with some of the funds that we have, that would benefit the group, the whole. So
got it.
And we'll work on that. Item 16, discussion on cooperative project agreement with New Mexico Department of Transportation, NMDOT, for project control number RT20040 for the design of multi-use trail system Moon Mountain from Gavilan Canyon Road to Hull Road, PR 20001, in the amount of $240,000. I don't know if that includes GRT or not. Rodney?
Good morning, Mayor and councilors. This is the next step in the process to allocate funds for the construction of the Moon Mountain Trails. That will not happen until, the actual construction will not happen until possibly late spring or early summer. However, again, this is just a step in the process for the state to allocate the funds for the construction.
Okay, do y'all want to have that on a regular item?
I think so,
Yeah,
just for
regular.
public awareness.
Okay. Item 17, discussion on adoption of resolution 2020-39, a resolution authorizing and approving the submission of a completed grant loan application for financial assistance to the New Mexico Finance Authority Water Trust Board for fiscal year 2021. Mr. Boyd, there you are.
Mayor Crawford, councilors. So this resolution just is saying that we're authorized and you're approving our application to submit to the Water Trust Board. So for this year, our project that we are proposing is the Fault and Brownwell Improvements Project, which is currently in design and should be finished with the design in mid-December. So it lined up really well with the grant process. The Water Trust Board application process gives additional funds, or not, has additional points in the scoring process for matching above and beyond the requirements. So we are proposing a 50% match to try to maximize.
Look at this one.
Points out of that.
If I can't see.
Hey, Rodney, you're unmuted.
Sorry.
So if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them about this.
What kind of funding are we looking for? How much?
So the total project construction cost, based off the 60% design, was at about $1.1 million. So we're looking to try to get a hair over $500,000 out of this grant.
And then we would have to fund the other $500,000.
Yes, which we already have budgeted. We've budgeted for the whole project construction in this year at SGRT.
Okay. So consent, a regular item to discuss about the Fault and Brownwell. Okay. And then number 18 is yours too, Eric, as discussion on adoption of resolution 2020-40, a resolution authorizing and approving the submission of a completed grant application for financial assistance to the United States Department of Interior, Bureau of Reclamation, WaterSmart, Water and Energy Efficiency grants for fiscal year 2021.
So, Mayor and councilors, this BOR WaterSmart application is the same thing. It's just authorizing and letting us submit this application. We've already submitted it, so they give us 30 days after the submission to get this confirmation. But this funding cycle has substantially more funds available this year than it has in the past, and so they increased the per project amount that's allowable. So they allow up to $2 million of grant funds awarded. So what we wanted to do was we're proposing to submit with Pine Cliff waterline replacement and Paradise Canyon. And so those two projects together are estimated at construction cost of $3.5 million. And so this funding would support up to $1.7 million of that total construction cost. And so given, from my understanding, and Tim's conveyed it before, is that the CDBG grant application process doesn't concern itself with dollars that are federal or not. And so with this grant being awarded, and based on the timing of the Pine Cliff phase of it, we would put that application in for CDBG funds to extend sewer into that neighborhood too. So hopefully we can leverage this GeoBond funding twice and get substantially more work done.
Does everybody understand how we're doing that? That we're taking the GeoBond money and leveraging it. That'd be our 50% match to get the total 3.46.
And Mayor, that's what we technically call our cocktail funding.
Cocktail of funding. We were on the radio yesterday and he was talking about a cocktail of funding. So I thought that was pretty good. Okay, regular item, thank you very much. Okay, item number 19, discussion on change order number 1, IFB number 2020-007B with General Hydronics Utilities LLC for Apple Orchard H 1979-S14 and Middle Gavilan H 272-S3 well improvements, requesting an extension 35 days to November 23rd, 2020, and increasing the contract amount by $556, excluding gross receipts tax. I was just thinking about November 23rd. I'll be a grandpa again. We're having a baby on the 23rd.
All right.
Little girl.
Congratulations.
Okay. So go right ahead, sir.
Mayor Crawford, councilors. So this is our first change order for General Hydronics, and this should likely finish us out through the rest of the project. There were some minor delays that were caused by 3 different things. One was at the Hull and Gavilan tank, there was an unmarked utility of the water pipe that had to, we had to change the design slightly. And so because of those delays, they were requesting a 14-day extension. In addition to that, there was some additional materials that were needed for the design change. And so that's where the $556 comes from. The other thing was, if you guys have seen our new Christmas tree that we put up at the Hull and Gavilan, that's for the Verizon cell phone tower. And so the lease really didn't give us the ability to say that they needed to hold off on that project until we finished ours. And so the contractor had to pull off of that site because of there's too much stuff going on in that little pad site. So it's not safe for them to keep working. So they're asking for 14 days for that. And then there's a minor issue with the grubbing and clearing at the apple orchard that was caused by the wellhead on the plan sets to be slightly in the wrong spot. And so they needed to wait for the clearing and grubbing for 7 days to get that all resolved. So all in all, that's a 35-day time extension with the $556.
Okay. Anything else on that one?
Oh, just a question, Mr. Mayor. Eric, given that you had the drawings that were incorrect, are there other wellheads that may be at risk for that down the road?
Councilor Jackson, no, this was just a minor mistake in the plan sets. And it's something that we'll be more aware of on reviewing the drawings.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? We'll have that on regular. And I believe that concludes the open portion. Now we'll have a closed session.
Did you want some clarification on the numbers before we go?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
On item 15.
Yes, the clarification on the numbers, you know, the total amount of request was $1,293,000. There was a couple of applications, one that was ineligible and one that was incomplete that was backed out. When you back out those applications, the total request comes out to $1,199,000. So it's approximately 28,000 over the amount requested.
Okay. And there were 77 applicants?
Is that correct, Ron?
I'm gonna say, Mayor Crawford, members of the council, approximately about 75, 76 approximately. I'm getting another total on that.
Is that were the ones that backed out or?
Yes. And Mayor Crawford will have those numbers certified and confirmed
Okay.
today, so all the numbers.
Okay. All right.
And then we'll meet with the committee and give them the information, and they'll make a recommendation on how to disperse that money.
Okay. Awesome. Does anybody else have any questions on the open portion? No?
Mayor,
Yes.
I just wanted to also state, just for clarification, I know that we had talked, but last week, Deborah Romero did get on the call for the mayor's council and confirm that all the costs that we submitted were eligible costs.
Okay.
So the police and fire costs that were submitted are reimbursed.
Remember, there's just been questions back and forth over what is, what isn't. We get told it's not, and then John Bingaman came right on and, you know, something that we were told was ineligible, and he's talking about it on the mayor's governor's meeting, you know, that it is. And so it's just, these guys have had to constantly get direction on all of that. So it's none of this is easy. So, and then we'll have, during the managers meeting, if we could just get a quick update on where we're at on our fiber optics. And then if you'll give us a quick update on the bridge, get Ron to tell us what's going on Close Road Bridge, so we can get, just because, you know, that I keep whining about the whole road bridge, but we want to make sure we're moving forward, and y'all are.
Phoebe is going to be on to give us an update on the FEMA project.
Yeah, and the Fonzie that we got. So we got the Fonzie on the, and so it looks like we're getting ready to finally, I don't even want to say it, move forward. And what was the other item? I think that was all that.
We have the Main Street Association is going to be doing their quarterly presentation.
Okay.
To us.
Is there something else that's going to be on?
There's a couple of public hearing items that are, one's requested and one is.
One of them is the Stuckey.
Townsend.
Stuckey's
is on, but we're making a recommendation. There was a request by the Stuckey's to move to November. So our recommendation is to go ahead and move their appeal to November.
Okay. And then Townsend is on again. I don't know what's going to happen, if we're going to have it or if they're working on the other direction. I haven't heard or seen or. So it's funny how that these are dire straits needs. We got to get this done, but hey, we're going on vacation. Can we move it?
Right.
So
anyway, we'll move on with those. Is there something else?
The other one was just, there's been several requests, Mayor, for instance, to rewrite Chapter 54.
Right.
That was on the initial agenda, but any additional requests that have came in for unbudgeted funds or funds that were frozen during the budget cycle, I've asked the directors to move that to the October review when we do our financial review now at the end of October. So,
okay.
There's a few requests like that had came in that were on the original agenda that we asked to move. Is there anything else, Irma?
Mayor, members of the governing body, Mr. Dodge, there is also the request to schedule the public hearing, the public hearing for the ordinance dealing with the geo bonds. So Judy does have that on there.
How's that one?
That's the court.
The court.
The court is one of them, and then the other one is the geo bonds for the series 2020.
Yeah, this upcoming series of the geo bond.
Okay.
That one is for 1.5, yes. 1.5 million.
Okay, yes, sir?
On that CARES Act grant stuff, are we telling people who got that?
Well, it's public information, so we'll have a list, but
But they have to, all we're gonna do is maybe generic advertising that we gave.
that there were 75 applicants and that it was the 1.171 was completely awarded to those businesses. And then I think if somebody's really interested enough, they can, don't you think, through the Information Act, they could get that information, or should we? I don't want these businesses. I mean,
I think that'd be good, just saying we put out this much money to so many.
and then if somebody wants the list, of course they can have it, but I don't want to come out with a paper and say, here, John Cornelius got $19,000. I just don't know about that. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I agree with you, but I think we ought to try to get some publicity.
Well, we're definitely going to do that. We've gotten some just to recognize how hard our staff and people have worked on that, over 200 hours. I mean, that's still counting, trying to get clarifications and modifications and understandings on that, on the 1.17, and then also on the 2.7 that comes back to us. And then there's going to be an amount on there that we would like, that we think would possibly be recognized as a small windfall, that we would like to identify something that would benefit. I mean, I don't care if it's working with the state on trying to fix some of the sidewalks in town, or lighting, or whatever, new benches. I don't know what it is, but to be able to identify some of that money that y'all have seen. I don't know, I still have this one, but anyway, that we could use for that too. So we want to return some of that. Tim?
Mayor, I just, all I have to add to that is that, we continue to, work every angle we can to, do better financially. And, Ron is now on the executive committee for the New Mexico Municipal League. And they announced that we're actually going to have a 50% savings on our premiums.
Oh, 50%.
So, yes. Wow. So, it's just, there's several different situations. And I think when we run into those type of situations, we really need to look at those one-time deals that we can do where we're giving back to the community and trying to assist, the economy itself.
And just so y'all know, remember our comprehensive plan, we were recognized statewide. I can't remember the name of the group, APA or something, from the state of New Mexico, that we were recognized. Number one, well, actually we tied with Las Cruces, but ours was in best practices for the comprehensive plan, right, putting that together. And the other one, Las Cruces got one for their transportation. So we're getting recognized a lot, and we're starting to go after these grants, that we haven't had since '86 on the CDBG, things like that. So our staff is doing an amazing job on that. We've also been asked to be a presenter, and I'm going to be speaking in our team at, what is the other deal? I can't even remember which one that is.
It's a regional, United States Southwest region planning session.
So we're getting recognized for all the hard work and the diligence that we've shown going after some of this money, and we want to continue to practice on that. And that's some of the things that we would hope that the county or somebody else would see, instead of charging more taxes, or trying to collect more taxes, that they would go after more grant money. Isn't that right, Tim?
Yes.
Tim's smiling because he said that, and I just repeated it.
The reason I was smiling there is because, Samantha and I and Rosie are actually on a breakout session for the APA, the regional conference, and that's actually happening tomorrow. So if anybody wants to sit in, you're more welcome to come into the office and sit in for that. But then in addition to that, the New Mexico Municipal League reached out and said, hey, we have this opportunity to highlight how some of the communities have modified their planning and zoning ordinances to help businesses during this COVID. And that's where the mayor was asked to speak.
Yeah.
Because of the executive order that he put out on easing and working with it. So we're actually going to be in that conference, highlighted in 2 different areas.
And then we're going to have, just so since he said the words executive order, we're going to do another one today that affects the short-term rentals. I don't know. We're talking about moving it to 10 or maybe even to 9. Do y'all have any input? I mean, we just need to go ahead. We're getting a lot of people turning into, it's into a party situation. So we were just trying to give the police more leverage on that to shut these things down by at least 10. So we'll put that out today.
Specifically on the noise.
Yeah, the noise, it's, people, they don't realize, and I know I've gone over to several where they're just on the patio, the deck. They got the music playing a little bit, but they do not realize how the echo effect or the canyon carries. And so we have to educate them on that and try to do it as nicely as possible. And our police do a good job on that, but they can't constantly be going back to the same houses. So we're just looking to tighten those things up.
Right. I think that's good, but if you do it at 10, our noise ordinance says 11, are we gonna have to change that also, or this will just be on?
Well, go ahead, Tim.
Mayor, Council, the executive orders is temporary, and then it would go to the rewrite. So instead of trying to change the ordinance twice, since we are planning a rewrite, my recommendation is that we do a temporary through an executive order and then address it during the ordinance rewrite process.
That would make some of the neighbors over by the proposed fields and all that happy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
If I may, there is one item that I failed to mention when we were going over what's coming up to. We did advertise for another public hearing. It is an ordinance dealing specifically with the lease of the Eagle Sports Complex.
Oh, okay. So that's up
Eagle
again?
Creek Sports Complex, so I failed to mention that.
Okay. So that'll be a public hearing? No, okay.
Mayor, that does include the expansion, proposed expansions.
Awesome. Okay. Can anyone think of anything else that we need to mention? No? Okay. So anyway, now we'll move into closed session.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we go into closed session for the purpose of the discussion of the purchase, acquisition, and or disposal of real property and or water rights by the Village of Ruidoso, State Statute 10-15-1H8 and NSA 1978. Any action taken as a result of the closed session will be brought back into open session.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please, Mr. Mann.
Councilor Jackson.
Aye.
Councilor Cornelius.
Aye.
Councilor Salas.
Aye.
Councilor Lauterman.
Aye.
Councilor Eby.
Aye. Okay. Who do we need to keep on?
Eric.
Boyda.